Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my arm is on the way.
I wanted y'all to see this sky and how pretty it is. Ain't that gorgeous, y'all? Alright, so I am headed home from work, and I got on my JP shirt. It's got a little devil on there, and he's holding a little bat, and he's saying, I wish you were a pinata. I wish JP was a pinata so we could beat him upside the head. But I just wanted to get on here and we could talk about the facts that we know with Mica. Like, we know, like, there is no way that she did it to herself there. And if the medical exam report is wrong, if what they stated in there is wrong, then I would think that would be so illegal. Because that is a, what, government issued thing, or, you know, something that's got to be, like, accurate and signed off on. Because, I mean, it goes on your death certificate, and it's like a birth certificate. So, and we know this because the things that they said on the medical exam, which was that her blood had settled in her back. And I'm no expert or anything, but, I mean, you can Google it, or, you know, whatever search engine you use, you can look it up and find answers. And we've learned that it takes an hour, I think 30 minutes to an hour for the blood to settle. So whatever position you're laying in within that time span is where your blood's gonna, like, settle, because your blood's not flowing anymore. And she was found face down, so those two things don't add up. If she was found face down, if she did it herself, and say she did fall forward, then her blood would have settled in the front and not in the back. So that means that somewhere between the gas station and that park, she was taken somewhere and placed on her back for that 30 minutes to an hour time period. Probably a little bit closer, we'll say about 45 minutes. So she was on her back for at least 45 minutes to an hour, and then placed where she was at. And that's just fact. And if the water, which Johnny the fisherman has said different stories about the water level too at the time, that the water level was low. And I think in one interview he said the water level was higher. But either way, the water level was high enough that she was covered, and she had stuff laying on her holding her down. So that don't make any sense either, because there's no possible way that she could go in the water, have her belongings and the weapon and then the rounds all scattered in different areas, 100 feet or, you know, however far apart from her, and then the entrance wound was bigger than the exit wound. Now, when I went to my doctor's appointment, I asked my nurse practitioner about the entrance and exit wound, if that was possible for that to happen. And he says no, not unless it's like a military type weapon or, you know, something, I guess, very, very high power or whatever. But he said even then, he says, because usually when it enters, it's like small, the size of the casing or the bullet. And then whenever it exits, that's when by that time it explodes. Also too, you don't hear anything about like any kind of splatter or fragments or anything. And usually they do release that, like, well, you know, this right here was part of our investigation and it did show signs of blood splatter or, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, that would be part of the investigation. So, but you don't hear no mention of that. You don't hear Johnny say anything like, well, when I went over there to go get her belongings, you know, I saw this color on the ground, or, you know, on the whatever. None of that. The kayaker, he said that whenever he went in there with his boat, the boat or like hit this log and it hit something, debris or something on her, and that's when her leg came up. And he didn't say anything about any kind of, you know, splatter or red or, you know. So, and these are known facts. I mean, if it's in the medical exam report, then that should be fact. There should be no guessing when it comes to someone's state and cause of death. And I mean, because it's all governmental papers and filings and stuff. So so we know that she was placed on her back for a certain amount of time and then placed where they found her. Another thing too, her phone was on airplane mode. So, and I know that even with your phone on airplane mode, or even if your phone is disconnected or whatever, like you can still call 911, even like on a house phone that's disconnected, you can still call out 911. But with cell phones, with the way they ping them and stuff like that, now I don't know how that would work with like say a spoof number or internet number, you know, like the Text Now app. That's a app that you can use to and you can pick whatever phone number you want. I mean, like whatever area you want. So if you want a New York number, you can pick a New York number. And if you want, I don't know, maybe a Canada, I don't know, I'm just guessing, you could pick that number. So now as far as like it pinging, I'm not quite sure how that would work. And I thought about trying to maybe talk and ask some 911 operators. I actually know a girl, so I was thinking about getting up with her and asking her some questions and seeing how all that works. And especially like if there's a cell phone too that doesn't have service and you do call out 911, or you use one of them internet numbers and you call 911, like, can they still ping that location? And I mean, there's ways that you can call 911 or call different places that's not in your area. And that's like people that get, what is it you call it? Like the gamers and stuff, it happens to them a lot. They get, dang it, I can't think of the name now. But they get, oh, what is it? I know y'all know what I'm talking about, because it's kind of like doxing, but it's swatted. They get swatted. And so, I mean, there's ways to do this stuff, you know. And then when she called 911, she didn't state her name. And we don't know for sure if that phone was in her name. Because remember, that was a new phone with a new phone number. So that number could have popped up as somebody else's name whenever they called. I know, like, you know, some cell phone providers, whenever you call, especially if it's like a new number or something, like it'll show up on a caller ID and say mobile or cell phone user. And like, say, with my phone number, I've had my phone number for so long that it actually does pop up with my name. But I know, like, a lot of other cell phones and cell phone numbers, it'll just pop up like the number, or it'll, you know, say mobile phone or whatever. So, and not only that, I mean, you got your VPNs, you got all this stuff. I have a cousin that he did some stuff on my laptop, and this was back in the day, like before all this crazy tech stuff that we got. But he did something because he knew how. I mean, he's like computer, like, genius. And one day I went to do something. I was checking in or whatever, you know how you do on Facebook, and it was showing me in Texas. I ain't never been to Texas. I ain't never been anywhere around Texas. So, and I know I wasn't in Texas then. I was in my area where I live, and it was saying that I was in Texas. So there are ways to do that, and there are ways to call for help in different areas that you're not in. So, and that's like when someone calls to do a wellness check on somebody that's not in their area. So we know these things as facts. So everything that we're thinking about is not out of reach at all. And the facts that we know are leading more to that. Pretty much we know for a fact she didn't do it herself. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts on that. Like, there's no way. Logically, any way for it to make sense with how everything was set up, and, you know, even with the facts and not postpartum, but y'all know what I mean. Because when you pass away, certain things happen to your body between certain times, and, you know, it's just, and then things affect how that happens, like being in water. We know that water washes away evidence. We know that water makes decomp a whole lot quicker. And we know water, you know, it would be easy to hide something, especially in that kind of area. And you have stuff to put on top of something and hold it down. So it's not a reach, and it's not conspiracy theory. It's just basic facts that we know from facts that we were given to the public. So I think we're on the right track here. And me and RC, which, love you, girl, we have looked, you know, where everything is. And if you look up Bear Bluff to Lumberton, it's about an hour difference. If you look up Fair Bluff to Lumberton, it's about the same distance, give or take. And, you know, I mean, and if she had to be on her back for so long, that means that she was taken somewhere else and then left there. And then with them bags of cement that CJ found out there, I mean, it would make a lot of sense. And it never got used because she was found so soon. And like we were saying in the last video, money talks, and you throw money to people that don't have a lot of it, and you throw money to people that, you know, don't have morals or moral compass. I mean, they'll be willing to do anything. And we already know Robeson County, they ain't investigating nothing. And especially if you're a female. So, and that's just a fact too. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's a fact. And so, but I hope everyone has a great night, and I'll try and do more little videos like this. And if y'all guys have any questions or anything, I guess, really, just leave me a comment down below, and I'll get to you just as soon as I can. And sometimes I don't see the comments. I have to like go on a different side of YouTube or whatever. I don't know why, but so not all the comments always show up, but I always try and read everyone's comments and try to reply if I can. So if you see that I liked your comment and put a heart on it, and then I come back a day later or something and leave a comment, and it's just me doing stuff in between. So but I thank y'all, and I hope everyone has a great night and weekend. And I got some ideas on some more things. I know we still got to go to step 3 of the plan, and we got some other things that we got to do. And to everyone that's reached out, thank y'all. And my light just turned off. But I hope y'all have a good night.